Hello everyone, and welcome to the reveal of Hello Neighbor 2. I hope you enjoyed the announcement trailer, and today we're going to get into all of the questions that you might have. I know there might be a lot. Before we do so though, I want to give a special shout out to Xbox for featuring us in their pre-show. So Hello Neighbor 2 was actually announced during the pre-show for the main Xbox event here on July 23rd. Really appreciate it, and let's get right into it. So the first question all of you might have is, well, what is Hello Guest? Is Hello Guest Hello Neighbor 2? And the short answer is yes. Hello Guest is Hello Neighbor 2. And how it got there is a story we should actually get into, because there was a lot of iteration involved in the whole process of developing a true sequel to the original Hello Neighbor from back in 2017. The development of the game actually started right around the time as we did with Secret Neighbor, and if you know, Secret Neighbor actually took the characters from the books and integrated them into the game, into the multiplayer spin-off. And then those characters were also integrated into the animated series. So you can imagine how it was like for us to keep the sequel development under wraps with so many things going on. And we did our best to tie in everything together as much as possible, and you've seen the Easter eggs in Secret Neighbor, and now we are finally ready to take a deep dive into Hello Neighbor 2. As you can see, I'm talking basically without a script. This is just a conversation based on all of the Discord messages, all of the tweets, all of the YouTube messages we got. So let's just dive right in. Imagine a few years ago when we were working on what could a sequel be. Right? On one hand, we had to stick to what made the original Hello Neighbor great, and at the same time figure out, like, how can we reinvent the wheel, right? What could a sequel play like? So we spent a lot of time on iteration. We had to figure out, like, if there is a gameplay style that would make sense for a true sequel while recapturing what made the original great. That was always on our minds, and after spending a lot of time on iterating different gameplay styles, we came to what you know as the Hello Guest prototype that definitely did not release, and we have basically been not acknowledging it. The reason we launched it as Hello Guest prototype is because we wanted to have a little bit more of an objective view on the gameplay prototype, and we don't want to label it as Hello Neighbor 2 because that would set expectations in a way that would skew the actual feedback we would get from players and from watching everyone play. So Hello Guest was a working title that then just stuck with us, and earlier this year we released Hello Guest Prototype, then we released the Hello Guest Alpha, and a lot of questions that people have is, well, when is Hello Guest Alpha 2 coming? Well, so the way to think about it really is that the Hello Guest Alpha is the pre-alpha to Hello Neighbor 2. So let's just call it that. We'll rename the Steam store pages, everything, so that it resembles that. And the main Hello Neighbor app is Hello Neighbor 2 app is going to be the Hello Guest Steam page, just so everyone understands. So if you have wishlisted that, you will get notification when Hello Neighbor 2 launches. So go ahead and wishlist that Hello Neighbor 2 page, which was previously Hello Guest. Do it right now. Just click that wishlist button. Am I doing YouTube right? I don't know. So anyway, we were iterating on the gameplay of Hello Guest, and we wanted to see what it would feel like to play the other side of when you are being stalked as a player by an AI. Because in the original, you would be stalking the neighbor, right? You would be creeping into his house. And the logical setting for that was actually the Golden Apple theme park. It makes sense, it's a theme park, it's creepy, so that is where we decided to set like a little mini story that you've seen in Hello Guest and test out how the gameplay works of where you're being chased around. A very important innovation that we've made in that AI was that it would actually, while it would have like some basic waypoints for navigation, it would look at what you as players do and then figure out how to use that information for navigation. So if you, for whatever reason, glitch through like a fence while jumping over, and the AI saw you do it, you would actually build a path for the AI because it knows that, hey, the player did this, so then obviously I can do it as well. This is what caused a lot of really interesting situations during playtesting, and when we released the alpha, we also were like, okay, so people really like this. But something was missing a little bit. The core gameplay of Hello Neighbor was you creeping into the house. So we went into a slightly different direction with the prototypes after we had playtested Hello Guest, and went back to the house, went back to creeping in, and we were experimenting with the idea of what if you would not respawn. You know how in Hello Neighbor, when you get caught, you just respawn back at your own house? Well, what if that gameplay was, you know, seamless? What if there was no, like, cut when you respawn? So then what we did was we tried to get the AI to see what kind of items you have in your inventory. And if, for example, you grab the key to the door, and the AI knew that, well, it knows that its key is missing, and then it goes on and chases you. It would first try and take that item, and then it would actually drag you out of the house and throw you out. So that was the second gameplay prototype that we haven't talked about at all, because we were sure that we would figure out a way to make it make sense in the overall lore. So a magical moment happened. Actually, I'm not sure if you guys know, but I have a secret superpower. I can break any game build whatsoever with absolutely no hesitation. That's why our producers are really scared when I playtest stuff. So during a playtest for that house build, what I did is I stole the key and I decided to run out. I was like, okay, it's not going to catch me, right? I'm nimble, actually not really, but I could run away. So I had the key, the AI has seen me grab the key and it's chasing me. Now what happens is that we had this framework of like an open world in the surrounding areas, and I started to go and scavenge for some stuff. I think I wanted a fire extinguisher, and the key was still in my inventory. And what happened was that some of the legacy code from Hello Guest, for whatever reason, made me feel like I was being stalked after stealing something from the house. And we're like, you know, like during the playtest, I just turn around and the AI peeks, like, you know, with his beak, like over a tree. Oh, and we're like, holy, oh my god, this is really interesting. And it makes sense because you have stole something from the house, that the AI wants, and what it did is it just knocked me on my feet. I was already outside of the house, so it didn't like drag me anywhere. So it knocked me on my feet and stole my key and went back to the house and placed it back. We're like, okay, we need to combine what makes Hello Guest great and what made the original Hello Neighbor great in this open world merge of the two gameplay styles. So this is how you should think about Hello Neighbor 2. It's a sequel that focuses on you sneaking into the creepy neighbor's house, which is abandoned, and we'll get into the story in just a little bit. So you sneak into this house, you need to grab a few items to unlock the attic door, because we're creative like that. You know, like there's this meme where Bioshock is under the sea and Bioshock Infinite is above the sea. We should put it into this video somewhere. So you have to get into the attic, and in order to do so, you need to get a key, but in order to get the key, you need to get a lot more items, and you scavenge the house and the surrounding open world for useful tools and items to get to your objective. And what happens is when you steal something from the house, and you decide to go outside to get more items because you might need something else that is not available there, it will stalk you, it will attempt to rob you, and it will place all of the items that you have just spent so much time figuring out where they are back into the house. And now add to that a day and night cycle where during the night the house actually locks down. So it becomes an interesting situation where there are different behaviors during the day and night. Now think about how all of those elements converge together, and you will get a pretty clear idea of what to expect in the, I was saying like what alpha, of course there's going to be an alpha. Right after this video ends, we're going to have an extended gameplay clip, and after that head on to helloneighborgame2.com, again, Hello Neighbor, wait, is it Hello Neighbor? Yeah, it's helloneighbor2.com. Head on over to helloneighbor2.com and get the alpha. It's going to be available on the Windows 10 Store, the DRM Free, and on Steam. The links will be on helloneighbor2.com. So that's the gameplay, and you're going to experience it for yourselves. Before we get into the extended gameplay clips, let's talk a little bit about the story surrounding like what is happening here, right? Now, you already know the character of Quentin from Hello Guest, and I'm not going to tell you exactly like how his part-time gig of looking over the abandoned Golden Apple theme park fits in here. What you need to know is that he's a journalist for the local Ravenbrooks newspaper, and he has been investigating a lot of missing persons reports. And one of the missing people is actually Mr. Peterson, aka the neighbor from the first game. Now, Mr. Peterson has disappeared after the events of the first game. As you all know, I'm not going to spoil it for people who haven't played or who haven't finished the game. All you need to know is that he's missing, and a series of clues leads Quentin, our small-town journalist, back to the original house where the events of the first game took place. And this house is occupied by what we call Guest, or the AI, that is trying to hide something in the attic. Naturally, your only solution is to break in. And what you've seen with the livestream for the past 24 hours was Quentin setting up cams all over Ravenbrooks to trace exactly what is this weird crow-like being doing. That's what you've been observing, and I really appreciate everyone sticking around and being super humble and patient. I really appreciate your patience. So in this story, we kick it off with that premise, and it is up to you guys to figure out what is in the Hello Neighbor 2 Alpha 1, how it fits into the overall picture, and you bet we will have more alphas, playables, and teasers. Hello Neighbor 2 is coming to Xbox and PC in 2021-ish. You know, like plus minus something. Anyway, download the alpha on helloneighbor2.com shortly after you enjoy this extended gameplay clip. And I really appreciate you sticking for my impromptu non-scripted thing where I just was looking at Skype messages over here. Thanks everyone, enjoy Hello Neighbor 2. I'll see you next time.